Hi everyone. I hope you're having a nice day. It's been a while since I've spoken to you all. I am at my office. I know I don't really come to my office, but today I had an interview and I needed to have a quiet place since um, my house, they were coming to like clean the outside of my out of my condo, and it would have been, I was just highly anticipating the noise, and I would have been so incredibly upset and frustrated. So I decided to come to my office and have it. Um, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Anyway, let's not talk about that. Let's not have that kind of energy. I do want to recommend a book here, Stolen Justice, the struggle of African American rights. And I think it is a very, very interesting book in the sense that I actually pulled out a quote um, from it and had my mom listen to it. It's actually a very quick read. So on August 1897, there was a young woman by the name Rebecca Lattimore Felton, and she was a Georgia suffragette, and she's the first woman to serve in the U.S. Senate. hmm She states, if it requires lynching to protect women's dearest possession from ravening, drunken human beasts, that's who she's talking about with African American men, okay, then I say lynch 8,000 Negroes a week. Okay. I say this because there's a lot of talk about the 55% of white women who voted for Donald Trump. And um, W.B. Du Bois, I'm reading Souls of Black Folks right now. I'm reading multiple books at the moment. And W.B. Du Bois makes an argument that black men should support the suffrage movement because if they, who have been disenfranchised, was to ally with black men, then there would be a stronger force moving forward. He later then says that he was wrong. And I think that as much as people are striving to try to understand the 56% of white women who voted for Donald Trump, I think that it leads me back to, I am actually reading a book. I'm tutoring a young girl, and she has to read To Kill a Mockingbird, and I absolutely do not like the book. But I told her yesterday that I'm so glad that she had me read this book because it did make me realize that that it made me pause and sit for a second because Atticus, like I said, I don't like the book, but I appreciate reading it again now that I am much more knowledgeable because I've read it in college and I read it in high school, and And I think I'm now in a better position to read this through a more accurate lens to what Harper was really trying to say. In almost every chapter, she is really getting deep into this conversation about how slavery has left its imprint on not just black folks, but society. And how it led to what she calls, what she writes as being the War of the States, right? And then it has led to the evolution and this crafting of what we now know as the South. And the South cannot leave this history because it is encompassed within their framework. And people like Atticus has to make a conscious decision, and I think that's an important point here, to leave behind racism, right? You have to leave behind racism. And how do you leave behind racism? It is, for Atticus, was, I'm not going to teach you about racism. I'm not going to teach you about my family. I have to check my sister in regards to understanding this framework of what family means in this house. And if she can't deal with it, then she needs to leave. All of these things are not easy decisions. And so when I was reading this book and people were talking about how Donald Trump has caused severe divisions within people's households, no, he hasn't. He hasn't. These divisions have existed, and they've existed for quite some time. Sorry, my husband. Sorry, my husband's texting me. These divisions have existed for a long time. It's been existing between, are you a slaveholder or are you not a slaveholder? Are you racist or are you not racist? And Atticus made a decision to, if I plan on raising my children to be anti-racist, that means I have to separate from racist, even in a racist society. And even if that means that I separate from my family. And look, that's a hard decision to make. It's a courageous decision, and it is a hard decision to make. And I am not one to make that statement. But I am going to say that I'm not sure if we need to spend all this time trying to figure out why people voted for Donald Trump. I don't see, even as a person who is a political scientist, and I do believe in trying to understand people's voting behavior, and I mean that's one of the fields that I like to study. But I mean, as in, there are going to be people that will never ever. There are going to be people who will always be racist. And there are going to be people who will not be. But can you try to find a common ground? Yeah, sure. But I don't know if governing from the perspective of how can I convince them to be on my side, you're not. So you know what you do? You govern. And you deal with the people that are that you can inspire. And hopefully they bring somebody along the way. So I am going to sit here eagerly by my phone. And, you know, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. Let's uplift this a little bit. OMG. So, I'm not a video game person, and my son is a video game ridiculous freak, right? And I think I'm gonna have to buy something. I have not been looking, and I've been saying that I am not wasting my money on another video game console, because my husband is like, no. So that's that. But I just finished watching the music video for Jaden. Jaden's music video for Miles Morales. And I was like, what am I watching? Seriously. The soundtrack was